So whoever guessed, go pick out anything from threecreeksbackcountry.com and yeah, we'll hook you up. Hey guys, welcome back to Three Creeks Towing and Off-Road Recovery. Today we're working on the Unimog again. It's been a while, but we're back, and today we're gonna be making rear fenders, okay? We're gonna be making tube fenders. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to do it. Today we got the headset on. We're listening to a couple podcasts. We're listening to Motorhead's podcast today. So that's a podcast created by the owners of Yankum Ropes, Alan and Jade. And yeah, they're a brand new channel, so if you want to listen to some of their stuff, go over to Motorheads. That's Motorheads with a Z. And yeah, they're on YouTube. We did a podcast with them a few weeks back. I have no idea when it's going to drop. But yeah, I'm checking them out. They're nice. Go over to their channel, listen to some of their stuff. I think they got Rudy Wetzel from Matt's Off-Road Recovery, and then Holly. That's the one I'm listening to right now, Mischief Maker Holly. But yeah, tube fenders for the Unimog. Let's get to it. Real quick before we get started, if you guys want one of these sweatshirts, go to threecreeksbackcountry.com. We got all sorts of stuff, koozies, sweatshirts, t-shirts. Go get yourself something today. Thank you. All right, here's the monster Unimog you guys love so much. It's really coming along. We got the crossbar up there on the spare tire, and this rear bed, believe it or not, is almost done. There's just a couple of things we got to button up, and then we're done, and we can start working on that motor. But anyway, yep, we're gonna put rear fenders here. The Land Rover's a little bit in the way. Battery's dead, it's charging. So we're gonna be working close quarters in here, but let me show you guys what we're gonna be doing. All right, we got the Unimog here, and you can see that those tires stick out about 6 inches. So we're gonna build the fenders to just cover these top treads. We're not worried about the sidewall. We wanna just cover it out to here. And we're gonna bend a 1-inch tube with our Rogue Fab tube bender. And basically, we're gonna cover the entire top tread here. So it's gonna come down like this, cut across like this at a 90, and then come up at a 45-degree angle. We're gonna weld it to this, okay? And then keep in mind, there's a crossbar somewhere right over there that we also have to make a cutout for. And yeah, then it's gonna come out at about a 45-degree angle right here. And it's gonna be nice and simple, and it's gonna be real pretty, guys. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to do it. We're gonna use our Rogue Fab tubing bender. I love that tubing bender. So yeah, let's take some measurements and get to it. So this is our FJ45. It's a Frankenstein FJ. It's got the body of an FJ40, and then it's got two frames welded together. It's got the rear end of an FJ45 and the front of an FJ40. So this is a super Frankenstein truck. I love this thing to death. Yeah, you guys will be seeing a bunch of videos of this in the future. I just broke that mirror doing some yard work. But anyway, I built these fenders last year, and that's about what the Unimog ones are gonna look like. You can see I welded them to this bar up here, then I stitch welded the sheet to the 1-inch tubing, and we're pretty much gonna do the exact same thing, except with a 54-inch tire. All right, before we get bending, I wanna show you guys my Rogue Fab bender. Now, it's sitting in the dirt now. I built this cart for concrete. The last shop we had was concrete. Obviously, I wasn't planning for a dirt floor, but here we are with a dirt floor. So I will make a video in the future where I actually upgrade these tires, and we're gonna put some big off-road cart tires on there. It'll be easy to move around in the dirt. That's a little bit cheaper than throwing down concrete, I think. Yeah, so this is our HD Rogue Fab bender. This thing is sweet. It hasn't skipped a beat. It's done all the work for us that we've ever asked it to do. It's bent everything on that Unimog. It's bent everything on the FJ, and it's even done housework for us. This thing's sweet. Like, I'm not affiliated with Rogue Fab at all, but they're out of Oregon, and yeah, I really like them. Go check them out if you're looking for a tube bender. This thing's really easy. It's pneumatic, so yeah, you do need an air compressor. But yeah, we got our air compressor in the shop today. We moved it from the garage, and yeah, let's get bending. So here we are at the very beginning of our measuring process. This is scrap steel. This was supposed to be the handle for the ladder of this Unimog, but we actually scrapped the handle idea and it works great as a little visual cue for us. So you can see here, we can actually use these measurements and then base the very first bend off of this. So you can see here, this is gonna be a little bit short. So we're gonna make it a little bit longer up top. And you can see these bends, that angle's just a little bit too much. So we have our angle gauge here, protractor, angle finder, whatever you want to call it. Either way, I stole this from Megan. So we're actually gonna get some 1-inch tube and bend it at 30 degrees. This is 45. We're gonna start with 30 and we're gonna leave the bending blocks in place. That's what I love about this Rogue Fab bender is you can leave the blocks in place, the clamp blocks, and yeah, you can bend it even more if you want to. So we're gonna start off with a 30-degree bend. This is gonna be a little bit longer. And so let's go cut our tube and yeah, get to it. All right, we got everything pretty much good to go. We measured out 48 inches, cut it out. We have 12 inches between each clamp block, which leaves 18 inches on this side. This bender has a really nice little guide. So we're using a 3.5 CLR die, which means it's 7 inches in diameter. It's got a 3.5-inch radius. And the offset for that is 4.5 inches. So if you look over here, this is a clamp block, tubes going this way, and then the die's in here. So the bend isn't gonna actually start until 4.5 inches from the end of that clamp block. So there you go. Yeah, this is pretty much how I bend all my tube, and let's hook it up to air and get bending. All right, so we have the pneumatic control in our hands here, and I'm gonna bend this while we're on camera. So let's do it, let's get started. All right, just like that. That was pretty easy. Just open it up. And then, yeah, we're just gonna switch sides. Do it again. There you have it. So I've just flipped this tube around and that's a 30-degree bend. And yeah, let's get going on the second one. Same thing, it's quick as can be. Nice. All right, let's go check it out. Let's see how it looks. All right, that Land Rover's battery's charged, and take a look at this. That looks really, really good. I think that's a really solid base for a really nice fender. I think the dimensions are honestly perfect, and I don't think we're gonna make any mods to it. I really, really like that. Let's take a look here. That looks good. So just in this photo right now, it's actually gonna be a little bit wider, but that looks really, really good. That's a great profile. And yeah, that's what we're gonna keep. All right, so now we basically have to go repeat that same process 3 more times. I'm not gonna show you guys that. You've already seen the first one, and I'm listening to that Motorheads podcast. So I'll see you guys when I'm done. Okay, so here we are trying to figure out the width. So we bent all 4 pieces, 2 per wheel, and now we got to bend 4 more pieces to get the width. So what we're doing is we have to get 4 pieces of tube and put 2 90-degree bends in them, perfect 90-degree bends to get everything square, and then we're gonna weld them in place. So the tricky part is getting the width right. So we wanna get just the top of the tread. We don't want any sidewall, and this is just about 17 inches wide. So we're gonna make this 17 inches. So the tricky part is measuring out these bends, doing all the math, and getting these right angles to sit at exactly 17 inches width. And I'm gonna walk you guys through how exactly I do that. All right, guys, so here's how I do it.
I didn't do this for you guys. This is how I visualize things and do all the math. Because we don't have to calculate the bottom distances here, this math's going to be pretty easy. So we already know that we're using a 3.5 centerline radius die. So from the end of the bend to the beginning of the bend, we know that it's going to be 3.5 inches. Okay, and we already know the offset from the end of the clamp to the beginning of the bend, 4.5 inches. So that's 8 inches. Now if we just double it, because there's going to be 2 bends, that's already 16 inches. But that's a problem, because that means that we can have absolutely zero space in the center, which means we don't have room for 2 dies. So I originally did this and then realized we're not going to have room. So then I went for this one. So we're actually going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to have to move the clamp block, okay? So that gets a little bit sketchy because you got to get the angles just right. You know, if you bend it 90 degrees this way, but then the tube ends up turning 2 or 3 degrees, then your welds and your angles are going to be way off. So this just gets a little bit more sketchy, but it's all the same math. We just need to move the clamp block and keep the angle the exact same, and I'll show you guys how I do that.
All right, that looks great. We just finished bending it and we threw it on this tire, and that width is absolutely smack on perfect. So we're gonna do this 3 more times. It's probably gonna take an hour doing 90-degree bends. Takes a whole lot longer than doing 30-degree bends. So we're gonna be doing that for the next hour. After that, the next steps, which is probably gonna be tomorrow, but after that, we gotta weld this to this, and obviously, it's not going to be this long. So we're going to have to cut everything. We're going to have to measure again, cut everything to the right size. And then I'll show you guys how I weld tubes together when they have to be perfectly straight. It's a little bit tricky, but there's a couple tricks that I've learned these past few years. I just realized that I didn't explain how I keep these angles the exact same when I have to move the clamp block. So you need 2 clamp blocks. So our clamp block was right here. When we took it off, what we did is we put another clamp block here, and clamp blocks have, you know, flat surfaces. So we had our original clamp block here, and then we slid another clamp block on, tightened it all the way down at the exact same angle. So we matched that angle, and that allowed us to then undo this clamp block and then match it to this angle. So it's really just kind of like a little game of checkers, trying to match angles, but that's a little tip for you. If you are thinking about ordering a tube bender, order a bunch of extra clamp blocks. They are great. It's great to have an extra set around. I think I have 4 per die. But yeah, I highly recommend them. Anyway, highly recommend Rogue Fab tube benders too. And I'm not associated with them at all. They just put out a really great product and make my life a whole heck of a lot easier. All right, let's get to bending. All right, we got all of those bends done. All of the fender bends are totally finished. All we have to do is now weld everything and then put some sheet metal over top and bend that, weld that in, and then weld it in place here. We actually still have a bunch of work to do, but we finished all the bends, and that's what's important. We're done for the Unimog tonight. We got a bunch of housework. We got a little bit of tractor work, and there's a video on that coming out soon. But anyway, we'll be back in the shop tomorrow. See you then. All right, it's a new day. We just got back from a tow job. It's early afternoon, and we're gonna weld these fenders up, so let's get to it. All right, we got everything measured out and ready to be cut. We got 8 cuts on these, so we gotta cut 2 cuts for each one of these, and we got 4 of these, so 8 cuts here. Same thing over here. We gotta cut both ends of this, and there's 4 of these, so another 8 cuts. So I'll see you guys in 16 cuts. All right, well, there you have it, 16 cuts with the chop saw, but we're not done yet. We still got to get the grinder out and clean these up for welding. All right, guys, so it's about an hour later. We got everything prepped for welding. We're just kind of in the final stages here. Let me show you guys what I do to kind of put this stuff together. So let me bring you in here nice and close. So we take a little tube and stick it in a bigger tube. This piece right here is in here. It's about 3 inches long, and that allows us to just snug these up perfectly, get them at the perfect angles, and yeah, tack it in place and then fully weld it. You can see over here, we bevel all the edges here, so that's, look at that. That's just a perfect little connection, nice and straight, and we get, this way we get everything exactly where it needs to be, and you can see this fender's coming along real nice. So I'm gonna put the camera down, get this tacked up, and then, yeah, get going. That's the new tractor, by the way. And that little Kubota is a beast. Make sure to check that video out. It actually should be coming out today. Look at that. That honestly looks great. So these pieces aren't tacked together. They're just slid together. So there's still a little bit of adjustment to be had, but that's pretty much exactly what we were looking for. I think that looks great. I think we're gonna get everything squared up, tack it in place, and yeah, repeat. But there you go. That looks excellent. All right, let's move forward. Heck yeah. That looks so good. All right, there you go. These are still hot. We just finished welding these. We just got to clean them up a little bit with the grinder. And then tomorrow we're gonna cut out this 14 gauge steel and basically weld it in place and bend it all along the top and then down the other side. But that's gonna be a job for tomorrow. We're done with this Unimog today. We got a bunch of other work to do, so I'll see you then. All right, guys, it's another day. We just got back from the store, and today is an arts and crafts day, pretty much. We just got back from the store with a whole bunch of poster board because we got to cut out sheet metal and weld it to those fenders, and we want to get it just right. So let's get going on this arts and crafts day. All right, so we got our little arts and crafts area over here. You'll notice it's in the dirt like we've been doing, but that's okay. So yeah, we got a little table here made of a Fuso FG bed. It was a very expensive table. But yeah, we got our orange poster board, and this is what we came up with. It's a 48 by 16 5/8 rectangle. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna tack it in place up here and then bend it and tack it in place as we bend it all the way around. It's 14 gauge steel, so it's really not that thick. It'll be easy to bend. That FJ over there, I think we used 1/8. So this is a whole lot thinner than that. I think it's half as thin. But anyway, yeah, we're working in the dirt. We're working with this Fuso bed because the shop isn't set up yet, but one day it will be. We're working with what we got in the dirt, and that's okay. So let's get going, and yeah, let's start welding. Let me just put my glove on real quick. Man, would you believe these gloves are about 2 weeks old? Holy heck. So that thing is still glowing hot, but look how good it looks. That looks so good. That looks so good. Obviously it's not done. It still needs a whole bunch of grinding, a whole bunch of welding, but who cares? We just had to see what it looked like. And guys, come on. That looks so good. Yeah. Man, I love it when an idea in my head, I guess this entire Unimog, idea in my head comes to life. Man, this thing gets my juices flowing. All right, let's finish this up and then, yeah, get to the next one, get that done. And yeah, hopefully we can get that done before the sun comes down. That Land Rover looks good too. Holy heck. All right, we just finished with the second fender here, and that went a lot easier than the FJ. 14 gauge really bends pretty easily, and we just bent it with our hand, clamped it in place while we welded it. Didn't even need the mallet. Anyway, tomorrow, not tonight, we're gonna cut these corners, okay? And then we have to actually mock this up all the way to the Mog, get it ready to weld in. There's a crossbar that comes down at an angle. So after we get everything welded, we're gonna get this in its final position, mark that crossbar, and then honestly cut a big section out of this nice pretty fender, and then tack it in place and weld it in, and they'll be done. Hopefully that happens tomorrow. Yeah, really hoping we can get this done. But that's gonna be it for the Unimog tonight. We got the fenders most of the way welded. We got them bent, and that was our goal today. We got a bunch of other work to get done, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Woo! It's cold today in this shop. It's freezing out, and the wind's blowing real hard. Wind's going at 15, 20 miles an hour, and it's 40 degrees. So yeah, it's a little chilly. I cannot wait for the shop to have insulation and a big old fireplace. Yeah, hopefully next winter this shop is gonna be cooking. But for now, we're just here in our Carhartts freezing. Anyway, we're gonna finish these fenders today. Today's the day that we get these done. It's Friday. We're probably gonna get a bunch of calls. Fridays are always busy, but we really wanna get these done. We have so much other work to do. So let me show you what we're gonna do. Quick, I wanna show you what work we got planned in the future. So we have to put, come on now, focus. We have to put a side winch on this Fuso. So that's gonna be really fun in the future. Okay, so we are gonna stick a winch in there that can winch from either side. We're gonna have a whole little pulley system. So that's the work we gotta get done on the Fuso. Land Rover's good for now. It don't need nothing but maintenance. This guy here, this little tractor, this little 1977 Kubota Beast 7100 needs some work. We got tires coming in tomorrow. So we got 4 big old tires we're gonna throw on there, and then we gotta redo all the hydraulics. These are leaking. Those are leaking over there too. So yeah, we gotta redo all the hydraulics on there. So that's gonna be a whole week right there. Now this is what you guys have been waiting for. Getting this bed done. We're so close to finishing this bed. Yeah, we're so close to finishing this bed. We just have to do these fenders, finish up the ladder on the side, and get it painted, and that's pretty much done. So I know it looks like a whole lot of emptiness, but we actually have all of the canvas for this ready and done. It's just waiting for the paint. So we want to weld in these fenders, finish that ladder up there, and button up these little holes, just kind of cap everything. And then we are done with this bed, so we're really getting close to it. So let me show you what we got to do today. We got to cut this right here on all 4 corners and both fenders, and then weld them. And then let's see in here. You can see that crossbar up there. So we're gonna have to mock this up, get it perfectly centered, trace out the outline of that crossbar, and then just straight up cut this out so that it can sit nice and flush, and then we can weld it in up against the crossbar and weld it in all along the top here. Do that for both sides and call it a day. Hopefully we can get that done way before this afternoon. We're really gonna try to move quick here. It's cold, we gotta get our blood flowing, so let's get to it. All right, this thing is ready to be welded. We're gonna do final checks. We've already checked everything once, but we just wanna check it again. Measure twice, weld once, cut once, whatever you wanna do, just make sure it's right. Yeah, so this is pressed up against that body with some wood, and it's all leveled, and yeah, pretty much ready to be burned in place. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, we are fully welded on the outside. I think it came out great. Now what we got to do is make some gussets for the inside. 2 gussets per side. Yep, 1 in the front, 1 in the back. And we'll be good to go. And then the same thing for the other side. But anyway, that's looking so good. I'm speechless. I love that. That looks exactly how I was expecting it. And it just looks amazing. Can't stop talking about it. And look who joined us on this chilly afternoon. Our boy Remington, 10 years young, and he's happy as can be, just laying in the sun and being my buddy. Yeah, he's the best dog. We're gonna go give him some pets. Hey, bud. Yeah, boy, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. He's been through it for sure. All right, yeah, dude, I remember the first day I got you, man. 6 weeks old, over 10 years ago. All right, let's get back to it. All right, 2 more gussets and we're good to go. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's a little gusset right there. Same thing over here. Just a little gusset right there. And yeah, these babies are strong. 2 more gussets and we are done. All right, well, there you go. Fenders are done. They're plenty strong. And yeah, hope you guys liked the video. Didn't do too many time lapses this time, just kind of got the work done and brought you guys along. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow we're putting monster tires on that tractor. Stick around for that. And yeah, this Unimog's almost done, at least the bed. We're getting real excited about taking this thing out on the trail. Anyway, later. 324-pound spare tire. There you go. That crane scale has been zeroed out and we did it 3 times. It's not touching anything up there. It's not touching anything down here. So whoever guessed 324, go pick out anything from 3creeksbackcountry.com and yeah, we'll hook you up.